Contrarians, welcome back to the Encrypted Capital Recap for Friday, September 9th. First off, a ton of green on the board today. Luna 2.0, holy fuck, up 207% today alone. It basically did what Luna Classic did over the course of a month in literally like 2 hours. Absolutely epic. Strong Atom looking real good as well. Bitcoin up 10% for the day, and most altcoins are up at least 5 to 10%. Pretty epic. So let's get into the news here real quick. So Bitcoin jumps most in 6 months as hope for 2023 rate cut persists. It says ING expects a rate cut in June of 2023, followed by further easing in the second half of the year. So if you guys remember, a couple weeks ago, we were putting out all the negative news that was taking place in Bitcoin and how a lot of people thought it was going to drop even further. You know, it already dropped 70%, and then more people were thinking that it was going to drop to like 10K. And so, like I said, I always like to use my friends as a gauge as to what's taking place in the market. It's making a pretty credible case for the bottom being in on Bitcoin. We did want to not make any new lows, and it almost did. 17.5, I believe, is what it needed to hold, which would have been down here. And sure enough, it did. And now we got a nice bounce. Now, whether we continue consolidating or we actually get some move in the altcoins, that has yet to be seen, but we do know that the Ethereum merge is going to be taking place here next week sometime. I believe they just gave like a date range. I want to say it's like the 13th is potentially when all that can start. So you have Ethereum trading at 17.15. Ethereum itself is up 100% since earlier this year. The low was roughly $900. This was back in June, so only a few months ago, and now you have essentially a 91% gain, and actually at the top here, it actually hit 124% for the most you could have gained from the bottom here. Now, one thing to note is that if Ethereum switches over to proof of stake, or not if, when it switches over to proof of stake, from proof of work, the big question is, where are all the miners gonna go, right? So if you guys don't know already, which you probably should at this point, but Ethereum proof of work, you essentially need computers to run the software to mine the cryptocurrency. Takes up a lot of power. Switching over to proof of stake essentially allows them to run with 100% less power, which is awesome. Only issue is that you run into another consolidation of power. While it's not in the form of actual mining hardware, proof of stake is essentially validated by people that own 32 Ethereum or more. 32 Ethereum times roughly, I don't know, almost $2,000. You do the math on that, that's a lot of money. $64,000 you would need in Ethereum right now to be a validator. So while it's not really dependent upon the people having mining power, it's now dependent upon people having money. Proof of stake, how much do you own? How much do you stake? 32 Ethereum, 64K. It's a pretty tall buy-in for most people if you ask me. So while it is cutting back on the actual power that it takes to run the network, you still have people with a lot of money that are actually validating these transactions. And so again, proof of work, proof of stake, to me, it's really all the same. You're having a huge consolidation of power. So before, it'd be people that own a lot of miners, very high-powered mining software. Very high-powered mining chips. Costs a lot of money to get those, and now it costs a lot of money to get the Ethereum to run the network. And essentially, it's just a bunch of rich people running it anyways. So that's my 2 cents. But now we want to talk about, where is that power going to go to? Where is that mining power going to switch over to? Will it switch over to Ethereum Classic, which is essentially the OG, the original Ethereum? The Ethereum now is the forked version of the OG Ethereum, which is Ethereum Classic. Kind of confusing, I know. But one thing I did want to note, though, you go ahead and take a look here. I mean, this right here, there's a lot of anticipation going on right now with the amount of volume that has come into this area from basically the end of summer until now. It's quite staggering. So, do people know something that we don't know? Most likely, Ethereum Classic is held on the balance sheet of the digital currency group. That is Barry Silbert, Grayscale Fund. They do offer that to their clients, Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin Cash, and others. And so the hypothesis, Ethereum Classic was a huge gainer, huge gainer last bull run. And I mean, just look at that. That's massive. I mean, you're going from roughly, I don't know, $3.82. What was the high? Like 75 bucks. It's a pretty nice chunk of change, a 60x gain on Ethereum Classic, some project that is apparently dead, according to Charles Hoskinson, who is the founder of Cardano and also helped Vitalik on Ethereum. He's bashing Ethereum Classic, calling it a dead project. But when I see big boys like that start bashing a project like that, it kind of perks my ears up a little bit. And as you can see, other people's ears have been perked up as well with this volume that's been coming in here. So I would anticipate a huge run in Ethereum Classic after these miners decide to switch over. I know there's a couple other projects on the table, but it would not surprise me one bit if we get a rally in Ethereum Classic. A lot of times what you'll see is that the prices get front ran before the actual, what's the word I'm looking for? Before the actual switch takes place or before the big news announcement takes place. These prices will get front ran. So essentially the week before it'll run up like crazy and then we'll dump on everybody else. We haven't seen that just yet and there's only a handful of days left. So will this project get front ran beforehand? Or will this be the catalyst for the entire altcoin market taking off? That has yet to be seen. But if you guys are unsure, if you're new to the space and you want to know what we're doing, you guys can go ahead and check out our Encrypted Capital newsletter. We have all of our trade updates here for the paid version. Otherwise, the unlocked version, we have our market updates that we go over. And you guys can get that free to your inbox on the daily. Very active on all this stuff. So if you guys want to support the channel, great way to do so. Like I said, free version and paid version. We did talk about Luna, buying Luna when it was 0.0002, and we have been cashing out all the way to the top here. So while we did not buy the exact bottom, we're still up like crazy. It went all the way up to 0.0006. So off of our money, as we cashed out at the highest point, roughly a 300% gain. We did mention that we were waiting for this to play out and that we were comfortable losing our position completely if it went against us, because we kind of saw what was taking place here. And I'll actually go back to the post here. So we talked about how we put in for Luna 2.0. We actually ended up buying 68 million. I don't think this is the exact post that we talked about, but you can see some of the levels that we were looking at over here, and that's Luna 2. So Luna 2 we're up on as well, although it did debut at 30 bucks. We're still up because it was free money, obviously, and it basically went up like 3x this morning. But we did post about Luna and had you guys been following and keeping up to date on that, you guys could have made an absolute killing. So check it out, free version, paid version. Now let's get into Gary Gensler here. This is the article. It says crypto doesn't need more guidance. SEC Chair Gensler says the Securities and Exchange Commission chief said the regulatory agency's existing rules provide a clear roadmap for crypto companies despite what they want. Now, you got to ask yourselves these questions like Kraken, Coinbase, these big US digital exchanges. You think that they haven't vetted out all these projects already, that they haven't made sure they're compliant and they're not actually selling securities on their site? You know, you would think that they would have to really do their due diligence before they even consider offering any sort of asset. But yet you have these super ass obscure projects on there that I have a hard time figuring out how it even made it onto these sites. And so people are like, oh, we need regulation, or I'm not sure if crypto is going to be around and XYZ for whatever reason they don't want to get into crypto, but would they really be trying to regulate a asset class that they're not planning on existing in the future? Food for thought. I think that crypto is not going anywhere, and Gensler, the SEC, a lot of these guys, the Sailors, the Musks, I have a feeling that's a very, very tight network of people, and that there's a lot of collusion going on behind the scenes in some shape or form. It says the crypto industry does not need any specific rulemaking for projects issuing tokens. U.S. SEC Chairman Gensler said in a speech Thursday. So framing the issues as one of investor protection, which that's complete bullshit because they completely collapsed the price of XRP with their investor protection literally 2 weeks after they had everybody frothing at the mouth for the airdrop. And so think like them. You get everybody buying into an asset, XRP, so they can get a free token. And then after everybody buys it, and they get their little tokens with the snapshot, then the SEC comes down. Jay Clayton says, no, we're going after Ripple. 2 weeks, 14 days after the airdrop, they go after it. And now everybody who bought is now down 70% over the course of a week. So you whipsaw the price back to the downside, freak retail out, buy up all their cheap coins. People that had the anticipation of getting the airdrop on Coinbase, I believe it was the Songbird, Flare, all that stuff. I can't remember which one, but all that stuff's tied together, and people still haven't received their Songbird coins from XRP and Coinbase. Coinbase is supposed to be issuing that. We still have no idea where the hell those coins are. So, clever rug pull. And let's not forget that Jay Clayton ended up just announcing that and then leaving the SEC to go work for a digital currency company. I mean, you really can't make this stuff up. So if you don't think there's collusion going on behind the scenes, you need to open your eyes, because that's exactly what's taking place, in my opinion. And it says that his remarks are perhaps the clearest indication yet that the SEC intends to continue applying existing rules and regulations to the crypto industry, yet they don't want to give you any clarification on why Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities but XRP is. Make up your mind. Just because you can't point the finger at anybody that created Bitcoin, even though it's probably, who knows, country, government, group of people, CIA, whatever. Sounds crazy, but who created the internet? It was DARPA. It's a military operation. Who do you think created the internet of value? Let's just think long and hard about that for just a second. Definitely possible. And the fact that no one knows who made it and yet is throwing all their faith into it, I don't know. It says a lot. It's pretty interesting. So the fact that Bitcoin and Ethereum have not been deemed securities and XRP has, or they're trying to deem it a security, is pretty frustrating to say the least. So I don't want to hear about that investor protection, because I think that's all crap. Now, Ethereum merge can trigger high volatility. BitMEX CEO warns. And that's kind of what we talked about, right? The front running leading up to the merge. Will we see that, or will it just be a fucking explosion of green candles on the board? Obviously, that's what we'd be hoping for, but we still have quite a few days left. We still got 4 or 5 days to actually get through this stuff. So, also in other news for Ripple, talking about the NFTs over here. So the validators were voting last week for the NFT related amendment, basically meaning that you can run NFTs on the XRP ledger. I believe that the vote is above 80%, which is exactly what it needed. So the merge going on, NFTs on XRP ledger, crazy. Lots of big stuff coming down the pipeline. And also, Jesus, with these ads. Close you out. All right. XRP price, will it ever reach 99 cents as investors dash to the hideaways Pre-sale. It already has reached 99 cents. It's actually reached $3.30 or 50 something cents a while back. Can it reach it again? Would be a more accurate title. XRP down 80%. Yes. You want to buy as far away from the all-time high as possible. I use this example all the time, but it's like when it comes to investing, people just get their brain warped and they don't want to buy stuff when it's low because they think it's going to go lower. But it's like you want to buy that $500,000 house and it becomes 100 G's. You're not going to pull the trigger on it? Of course you would. Why it's different for investing makes absolutely 0 sense. So we have been buying and accumulating and letting our subscribers know exactly what we're getting into, why, and also delivering those price targets for these assets. Because you need to take profit. No one is ever going to be mad at you for taking profit. Yeah, you might sell at the wrong time, which is why you do what we do. Dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out. That way you don't get buyer's or seller's remorse. Now, it says it looks set to deliver 100% gains. The hideaways offer the opportunity to invest in luxury properties across the globe for as little as $100. Will not be doing any of this. I don't know exactly. I didn't really read through this article too much, but it says the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has been locked in a legal battle with Ripple over the past few years. Yeah, we know that. After months of court hearings and motion files, the Ripple may have the upper hand. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what this hideaway shit is. So let's nix that. I wouldn't invest in anything that is a pre-sale. I'd rather just invest in the company itself. But I think that we have a lot of green potentially coming around the corner for a lot of these assets. We've already dropped some of those in the newsletter, so check that out if you guys want to learn more. Otherwise, I think that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Encrypted Capital Recap. If you guys like what you heard, please drop us a like, comment, and subscribe. Catch you all in the next video.